It's great to have you on the program once again. How are you?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
You made the club out of spring training, which was awesome. Things didn't go the way you wanted. You went back down to Las Vegas. You figured it out. You got brought back up. We had you here after a game, and we talked about how keep it simple, slow the game up a little bit, and you've been doing that. Let's kind of get back into that of what it's been like since you've come back from Las Vegas.
I think it's just been keeping the same mentality that I talked to you guys about, was just, when things speed up and, you're playing a good team or facing a good arm, just go back to basics, slow down, don't overthink it.
How much did you think about that, of slowing things down when you left here and you went back to AAA?
Yeah, I think I didn't think about it much. It was more like a realization playing there, because when I went back, obviously I played better there than I did last year. And I just was wondering, why am I hitting so well here? Why am I, driving the ball? And I realized it was because I had seen the higher level. When I went back, I kind of slowed it down and was just, I know how to play at this level. I've been here before. So I think once I realized that, I'm slowing it down here. When I go back, that's just what I need to do there, is the same thing.
You had an aha moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like the light clicked. I like that. So you figured out, you're like, I can do this.
Yeah. And it's, the pitching in AAA is good. I know a lot of guys say it's definitely different up here, but if you're working on stuff and the mindset's working there, it can translate here. And I remember just thinking about that, like, I'm on the slider down there, I'm on the heater, I'm hitting pitches in, out. Why is that? And it was just because I was almost a little bit looser and just playing my game.
Well, don't worry, we've debunked that here on this show. All this talk about, well, you're getting to the big leagues, it's the big leagues. Do you know how many guys that will pitch in the big leagues this year, pitched in AAA also this year? A lot of players you're going to see on the field tonight have had time in AAA this year who will pitch. So you're seeing guys that are going to be in the big leagues or just in the big leagues down there. But the thing that I always like to tell people is that, we think of everything so physical. That's you're showing right there and telling us that's a mental thing. You figured out mentally about the whole process of slowing it down and, I can go back up and do it.
Yeah, I think for sure, especially when I was watching video of my swing and, it's just like not that much was different. It wasn't like I made some crazy adjustments. I mean, I made some adjustments for sure, but it wasn't like you could tell a huge difference in my swing. It was really more, mental and, going in with a better plan and a better mindset about what I'm trying to do that day.
I asked Scott Emerson this yesterday on the show because there is so much data and there is so much information for you guys to look at. Is it hard from a coaching standpoint to tell guys, stop, just keep it simple, get it out of your head and just go play free? So as a player, how tough is that when you have all this stuff being shown to you and everybody's trying to get, and it's what they think's best for you, obviously. Yeah. But at some point I just got to get up there, see ball, hit ball. Is it hard to just try and keep it simple?
I think with that, you gotta experiment. That's my biggest thing, is you got to try to look at certain things and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, you got to avoid looking at it. There's some guys I know down in AAA that I would talk to that didn't want to know the percentages of what percentage the guy threw the pitch. They just wanted to know what he had.
Yeah.
Just so they don't get too locked in on one pitch, of a higher percentage. And I kind of thought about that. I was like, you know what? I got to start trying new things to figure out what piece of information that I need to get before I go up there.
Now, we like to talk about versatility, how that is key, that you can play a lot of different spots and a lot of guys can, but there is also something about being comfortable, and it looks like they've made the commitment to you now to be the starting third baseman, which is awesome for you and your career. Obviously, when you're up here earlier, you're playing second base. What does it mean to you now to know, like tonight, you're going to be playing third base? What is it like knowing that when you show up here, that it's not going to be outfield or it's going to be second base? You're playing third base. How does that help you?
It's definitely been nice, especially with the practice thing is the most important, knowing I can take majority of my reps at third. Sometimes when you start splitting it up and, changing the arm angle all around, it kind of gets you out of whack.
Yeah.
But, coming from high school and stuff, I always kind of thought it'd be short to third. So I do feel comfortable over there. Second's kind of a wild card sometimes, but
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair, because that side of the diamond, right? He was a first round pick. He was a shortstop. I mean, you're comfortable there. Third is just a little different. Ball gets on you a little bit quicker. You got to get rid of the ball faster. So, I mean, talk about the difference between the two and why you're so comfortable on that side of the diamond versus the other side.
Yeah, obviously I have a lot of minor league games at short, And so reading the swing from that side of the field is definitely a strong suit of mine. So going to third and, just being a little bit further over definitely made it easier than second for me, just because I've spent so much time over there. And, when you're short, you gotta let it fly. Second's more of finesse, get it over there.
Yeah.
So when I have that kind of same throwing motion at third as I do at short, it's kind of an easier transition. The footwork's the same. I'm letting it go. My body's kind of going the same way. At second, you're kind of turned a little differently.
No doubt. And a lot of times you start getting 3/4 or down a little bit. One thing that I've noticed to you at third, and one of the things, it kind of like a quarterback where you got to turn and throw across your body. You have to do that a lot, especially when you're going to your left as a third baseman. That's a throw you've done really well. You did it last night. Just talk about being comfortable making that throw, because when guys make that transition, that's a hard throw for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of my natural strong suits is going to that left and kind of just torquing and throwing. I think I've messed with that a lot growing up and stuff. And, that's a similar play at short, going over the bag and, having to twist almost more to get it back to first. Yeah. So I think going to third and having that play, sometimes I get it a little closer at third because I'm up. So I just try to finesse it, get a little touch to it, know it's going to sink back a little bit, get it to first.
And there is something about playing up in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Guys do hit it really hard.
Oh, yeah.
And you're a lot closer.
Oh, yeah. I had a couple of balls versus the Twins, I think, that I was up for the bunt, and they're just ripping them over there.
Talk about offensively how things have been different, especially from the power standpoint.
Yeah. I think the power standpoint comes more from the adjustments physically that I made. Just kind of putting myself in a better angle to go up and get balls and drive them at the better launch angle.
Going to get balls higher in the strike zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a struggle for you the first time around?
Yeah, I think it's just certain things with my balance and weight wasn't allowing me to, catch those balls in the right path. It was more of I was hitting them hard. I had a couple balls off the wall, I think, when I first got here, just because I was a little more across it.
Now, when get back to defense, something that's always so key is the relationship with the shortstop and vibing together.
Yeah.
How is that relationship with Jacob Wilson?
I mean, obviously we played together since high school, so
yeah,
it's nice to have someone over there that I know, and I kind of know, what balls he can go get and what plays he's really good at, and I'll leave some, maybe some of those backhands that he's really good at. I know he can make those plays on the run. So it's nice to have someone that even if I'm not looking at him and I'm going to get a ball, I kind of know where he is because I've seen him do it so many times.
Now there's the young crew that is here. When you talk about Jacob Wilson, you talk about Lawrence Butler, you talk about Nick Kurtz and Tyler Soderstrom and yourself, a bunch of former first-round picks. Butler wasn't, but I think you guys include him into the crew. What is it like, this young group where you guys are all looking around at each other and you guys truly are the future of this organization?
Yeah, I think you definitely just hope that we all keep progressing together and you root for us just like we do the rest of the team. I mean, we have a lot of guys in the young crew that maybe aren't as young. We add them in. TJ McFarland's in the young crew. He's young at heart. So
you let that 35-year-old into your guys' crew?
He fits right in.
Because I've heard the crew, you got to be. Lawrence Butler explained it like you got to be like 25 or 26 and younger.
Yeah, I mean that's the crew on paper, but if anyone wants to join young crew, they're welcome.
Yeah, because I look at the hairline and TJ McFarland, 35. He's not part of the young crew, but you let him in.
Yeah, at heart, he's young crew.
How many of these older guys are trying to get into the young crew?
So some of them stay away from the young crew, but they're welcome for sure.
All right. Because you guys, it is. It's got to be fun. Young guys growing up together in the big leagues. What's that like?
It's cool. I think it's just it's definitely something that you want to see continue to be built. And I think it's definitely you're just rooting for each other because you know that you have a chance to play together for a long time. And there's obviously a lot of other guys on this team we haven't mentioned. Langeliers and Geloff coming back soon. Like those are all guys who want to be a part of this core group.
Well, yeah, you think about when the Athletics came west years ago from Kansas City to Oakland, then won 3 straight World Series. They were all young together. They all grew up together. They end up all getting married and having kids. Yep. That's kind of what you guys like on the way to Vegas. We can see that this young group is growing. Talk about the confidence in the clubhouse, because another loss, they're starting to mount. You're looking at 30 and 45. You're 15 games under 500. But every single time I talk to somebody up here, they go, no, we're still in this. We still feel it. So what is it like in the clubhouse?
It's just take it day by day. I don't like to look at the record or look at what happened. When we show up that day, we're here to win. I think that's just what we're kind of thinking. Every day is an opportunity to win. Every day you get to play a game and have a chance to do something to help the team.
Yeah, there's just let us know. There's not guys hanging their heads there. There's
No.
still belief.
Yeah, it's really win as many games as you can, no matter what. So, if you go on that, we had that losing streak and whatever, but, you got to put that behind you and just the next day you can start a win streak.
And then, down in Las Vegas, guys that you've played with, there's still talent down there that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about some of the guys that you think that could probably help with the ball club this year who you've played with not only last year, but this year.
Yeah, Colby Thomas and Susak are some of the big names that stand out if you look at their numbers. Colby's done it for 2 years now, right around 300. He's got 15, 16 homers. He hit 30 last year.
Yeah.
That's a big-time bat, and he was one of the best defensive outfielders in minor league baseball last year. And
he can play all three.
He can play anywhere. And I think he's kind of overlooked in the prospect or top 100. But, out of guys that I've played against or guys that I've seen, he's a top 10 minor league player for sure.
And then Susak is just a monster
Yes.
catcher.
When you get a big guy like that behind the dish that can also, hit for average, I think that's a special player. He has the power, but he can spread around the field. He'll shoot a hole. He'll get a knock when he needs it. He's a good player. He's intelligent. I think those guys are, going to be big pieces. And, I hope they're up here soon because I know they can help this ball club.
Well, I like to call it Townie's crystal ball, where I look into the future. I told you down in Arizona, you were going to be here and you were going to play a major part in this 2025 season. And here we are.
Yep.
And here you are.
Yep. I hope it just keeps going upward and get some more wins. And if I had to have my own crystal ball, I'd say that, Colby and Susak and even Jack Perkins will play a similar role that I have when they get up here this year, next year, whenever that is.
We're happy for you.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing it.